Hey guys, Micah from Black Bear Custom Kydex. I have a video for you today on a few Kabar TDI Sheaths and a Tops Tex Creek. So let's start with Tex Creek, I guess, and we'll then switch and just do the TDIs to the finish. So this one is a very simple sheath. It is for a friend of mine named Brian. He lives overseas as a missionary, and Brian has asked if I could make him a sheath for his Tops Tex Creek. The only difference is he has the 20th year anniversary edition of this knife to celebrate, I believe, Tops 20 years. I don't think the Tex Creek itself is a 20-year-old knife. Could be wrong on that, but anyway, I really like this knife, and the 20-year anniversary looks really nice too. It's got some different handle scales. I believe the blade is like 4/100ths of an inch narrower and 6/100ths of an inch longer, something like that. So in any event, we reasoned that I probably could mold off of my knife if I left just a little bit of extra space at the tip. So hopefully that'll work out for him. And I apparently also missed the mark on timing. I meant to get this to him. How we usually do it is I ship stuff to his folks, and they'll ship it over with care packages that they're sending to him already, just to save everybody on time and shipping. So unfortunately I missed the most recent shipment over there, so I'll have to wait a couple months before we get this out to him. But in any event, I wanted to show you guys. He asked for this American flag Kydex, something patriotic. I assume he's probably a little homesick over there, and the retention is very strong. You can kind of hear the click. It's more of like just a little thump, a little whisper. But it's very easy one-handed draw. No rattle, no play. The knife's not going to come out on you. I don't think I'd call it ballistic. This jimping kind of tends to, somewhere in there, it's causing the sheath to rattle off course, so it doesn't quite come sailing off. You can see how it like jitters and then stops, but obviously set up currently for right hand vertical, so it'll come right off. And having built a couple sheaths for Brian in the past, actually I'm not sure if he'll wear it right hand vertical or left hand reverse grip, like so. Or maybe he'll change the angle altogether. But what you can do with this particular sheath, with this tech lock setup, so if you order a sheath with just the tech lock on it, it's going to come this way. It's going to come with a really weird looking eyelet pattern up at the top here, and what it allows you to do is carry the knife in a vertical position. It also allows you to, you can use these two eyelets, or you can use these two or these two, and you'll get ride height options vertically or sideways, I guess. You can also turn the tech lock 90 degrees and have it be a horizontal or a scout carry, and you've got some lateral play there with those same two eyelets. And then the third option is to go with the second and fifth eyelet, and that'll put your knife roughly at that angle on your belt, so you could wear it on your non-dominant side and reach across and draw it. So these are all very, very comfortable ways to carry the knife, all facilitated by the tech lock and this eyelet pattern. So ambidextrous and three-way tech lock setup. So this came out really nice. I wanted to show you guys. Alright, now let's get into the TDIs. So these are my best selling items. I get at least 5 inquiries a day on TDI sheaths, and probably 2 or 3 of them become orders depending on the day. So I have a few interesting ones. One of them is basic. This one's going to, oh boy, I'm trying to remember, James. This one's going to James in Chicago, and James is getting the knife and the sheath from me. This I'm actually giving him as a gift, just based on, I got a little flap wheel cotton stuck in the eyelet. Sorry. Alright, I'll deal with that in a minute. Anyway, so I'm giving this to him just as a thank you gift. So he asked for coyote. I gave him some choices and he picked coyote for the color. So that's a pretty simple one. This is what you see right here is the single most common thing, the single most frequent thing that I put out of the shop. People want it usually in a variety of different colors, but just a simple TDI with a tech lock is the single most common thing. So I guess I'll show this off for just a second longer. So I use 0.093 thickness Kydex for almost everything now. You can see it's got a good ballistic one-handed draw. Resheathes very smoothly. No rattle, no play. Knife's not just going to fall out on you. And again, with this weird eyelet pattern, you can orient the knife in several different positions on your belt ambidextrously. And the other thing about it being a tech lock is that you can actually achieve, so it's six, I want to say it's 6 different positions on each 90-degree side of the tech lock. So every time you turn the tech lock 90 degrees, you can find 6 more positions that are compatible with these eyelets. That's true of basically every TDI that I put out. Sometimes it's more than 6. Rarely is it less. If it's a tech lock, it's always going to have that many. Sometimes, you know, if somebody asks for something really specific with like mollies on it, just because of the available spacing on the sides of it, you know, I can't make the sides go out too far without being ridiculous. So sometimes, you know, keeping it in a good profile, I can't quite get a pile of different positions, but you always have something with me. So that's right there, the single most common thing that I make these days. All right, moving on, we have one going to Brett, and Brett asked for, see if I can find you. Where in the world? I have lost a TDI. Don't worry, it's not his, it's mine. It's kicking around here somewhere, but I guess I'll just use this one real quick as a stand-in. Alright, so Brett asked for a double layer TDI sheath, and he wanted his to be red carbon fiber, blood red carbon fiber, and gray basket weave, and he had asked if I can make it, I think he had originally asked, can I just do something really unique with the pattern? And so I thought about it and I said, why don't I make the top layer look almost like cracked, like an eggshell or something like that. So that's kind of what we have here. I think that looks really cool. It's getting a lot of love on Instagram right now. It took a little bit of work to do this. I mean, that it takes time. You gotta be really careful with how you do it, and it's, I mean, yeah, I think you can probably imagine it's a bit intricate. Plus, when you chip off all the slag from the scroll saw on the sides, I mean, it just takes a long time to do it. And if you go with like a Dremel or something and try to smooth all the edges out, or you're going to take away from the look of it, and it's going to look too, I don't know, too tooled. So I think it came out looking really nice like it is here. The design on the back side is exactly the same. So I'll give you guys a little insight. How I did it was after I made my top layer, so I make the sheath and then I mold a top layer over that, and then I cut the final shape out on it. I make sure the edges are all aligned, and once all of that is done, then I pull the top layer off, both sides of it, and I actually rivet the top layers together so that they're just the top layers together. The rest of the actual sheath is kind of set to the side. And I took I drew on it first, and then I took a scroll saw and I cut 2 lines. The scroll saw is extraordinarily thin, so I cut a line and then, you know, trying to space it about 1.5 millimeters, 2 millimeters over, and I cut another line that ran alongside it, and then, you know, scroll saw, like I said, it leaves a bunch of slag, so all the layers are still stuck together, so I had to actually break them apart because it's melting the Kydex as it's going through, and then it cools and sticks together again. So I had to break them apart, and then I had to chip off all the slag with a little chisel to make it look like they're all separated and stuff. But anyway, I think it came out looking really nice. And as far as the fit goes, let's check that out. Alright, so no rattle, no play. Nice draw. You can see right up until the Kydex or the handle goes in. Smooth entry. And then you just got to push that handle in. I'm actually going to adjust this really quick. Bear with me 1 second. Something's snagging on here and I don't like it. Just using a tool right now to sort of flare just the opening of this out a tiny bit, because I believe it's actually right around on the choil. There's a little contour that separates the grind from the flat blade stock, and I believe that's what's actually snagging as I'm looking at it. Okay, so I think that fixed the problem. Mostly. I'm gonna widen the opening. I apologize, guys, but maybe this is interesting to you. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna try to get it all on frame. It's kind of cool to see how it's all done. For those of you who haven't checked anything out on it already. And I wouldn't do this for very long without gloves on, because the heat gun generates an extraordinary amount of heat. All right. So what I was finding was that the very opening of the mouth of the sheath here was a little bit narrow, so sometimes I miss that on the first go around if I think I got the retention perfect, and then it cools and shrinks just a tiny bit. So now what I'm doing is I'm going back while it's a little bit warm, and I'm putting the knife just the beginning of the handle inside that opening and remolding it around that, just the very opening of the sheath, and that makes it wide enough for the beginning of the handle to slot in there, which gives it a little bit of like a tapered entry and makes it very smooth. So hopefully I'm not giving all my build secrets away, but anyway, to me that is darn near perfect. So anyway, this one's going to Brett, and brother, trying to cheat and look over at my printed labels. I'm sorry, Brett, I can't remember where you're at, buddy. I want to say California. I almost think it's LA. Could be totally wrong. Somewhere in California, I'm pretty sure. All right. Anyway, there's that. And then the final sheath I'm going to show you. The sheath isn't terribly special. It's just the standard. It's done in black multicam fabric, Kydex. You can see that fabric on there. And that's fine. Really what this video is about are the handle scales. So this one's going to Javier, and Javier lives down in Florida. He'd asked me originally just for the sheath, and then he quickly after asked if I knew anybody that makes custom handle scales, because he'd like to get some done in micarta for his 2-inch TDI. This is his knife. So I thought immediately, my friend BJ Hill does some fantastic sharpening and acid wash jobs, and he talked about being able to do a little bit with scales. So I contacted him, I asked him if he could do it. He was all about it, took it on, got it done, and he actually made 3 sets of them for me. So he did this, which was per the customer's request, with this sort of alternating groove pattern going on in the micarta. And this, in case you guys are wondering, it's black and OD green layers of micarta. Let's compare it side by side with the factory scales. So he made them basically as close to the factory scales as possible, but adding that pattern. And man, I am super impressed. I'm always impressed with his work. I had no idea he is this good with handle scales. But guys, if you are looking for custom handle scales, you need to contact BJ. The man is a wizard. So I'm having him make a couple other things for me right now, including a big set of scales for my my Bradford Guardian 5. Trusting him with that job because he is just so good at what he does. So checking out the other two pairs that he made. Look at these. I'm going to try to get a little light over here. I know it's kind of crappy light. I have a little bit of oil on them from my bench, I think, but this light is not good. It's a little better. Look at that. So, anyway, I am going to keep a set of these, and I don't know, I got to talk to him first and see if he's cool with me putting them up for sale. But if anybody's interested in buying a set of micarta handle scales for their 2-inch TDI, this will work with the plain edge or serrated. If you're interested, comment down below. Maybe I'll sell one of these pairs, or maybe he'd be up for making another set if you wanted something specific. These are not quite the same as the other one. These have a different pattern on them, but I actually like these a little better in terms of comfort and all that. These are really pretty. Just outstanding craftsmanship and tough stuff too. He was saying he was, after he made it, he tried to break one, he couldn't do it. So he's getting good quality strong micarta. So anyway, comment down below if you're interested in that, or email me or something, and we'll get that conversation going. But I got to talk that over with him before I make any sales on that. So anyway, so we have here the sheath. Now, I actually made the sheath like right away when the guy placed the order, and it was another 3 weeks, I think, before we had the micarta. Just based on, so BJ ordered it, and they sent him lime green and black, so he had to send that back and get the new stuff in, and then he did the project and sent it to me and all that. So it took a little while, but 3 weeks or so, and we got this. So this was made a few weeks earlier using the factory scales as my molding prop, and when I got this, I was expecting to have to do some adjusting to the sheath. It fits absolutely perfectly. I did actually reheat just slightly to change something on the retention, but it was absolutely not the fault of the handle scales themselves. So these will work just fine with the factory scale sheath. So in any event, I just want to show you guys real quick how smooth the draw is, resheathing. You don't get so much of a click, you get a little bit of that swoosh. You can hear that soft thud as it goes back in. But man, that is such a smooth draw. And yeah, the finish work on this looks really nice. Just everything about this came out great. I think the color choice, so Javier had specifically asked for scales that would really well match black multicam fabric. So I think we got a really solid match here. So alright guys, I'm rambling at this point, but I wanted to show you these sheaths and get your take on especially these two, just because they're a little bit off the beating path, this sheath and these handle scales. And I'm going to link BJ down in the comment down below, or the description box. I mean, I'll put his name and contact information. If you guys are interested in custom handle scale work, custom sharpening, or custom acid wash jobs, you really got to get in touch with this guy. He's amazingly talented. He's super easy to work with, and yeah, he's just a good guy all around. So definitely get in touch with him and get your custom work done, and then have it sent over to me for a custom sheath. Alright, thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate it. Definitely comment down below. Let me know what you think of these knives. Let me know if you want to buy a pair of these handle scales that I've got sitting here. And let me know what you think of the Kabar TDI. Which one's your favorite one in the series? There are 5 primary knives in there. There's also another little one called like the Shark Bite. I've actually never done a sheath for the Shark Bite. I personally don't think I like that knife at all, but anyway, what's your favorite TDI sheath? What do you think of this? What do you think of the handle scale work? I mean, I'm just blown away by that. So anyway, alright guys, thanks for tuning in. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Stick around for the next one. God bless.